Good evening, friends. Welcome. I want to thank everyone for braving the cold weather and joining us for what I believe will be a wonderful and very informative evening. We're so very proud to welcome Fort Wayne's own Mark Lavie back home. Mark and his family have been living in Israel for several decades now. Mark has returned to share his firsthand observations, updates, and experiences from Israel and the Middle East. I should say a rapidly changing Middle East, which is a tremendous understatement this week. So it's a special time to have Mark here, and we are grateful. Mark is the author of two well-received books, Why Are We Still Afraid? And Broken Spring. It was back in 2019 when Mark was last in town. Some of you may recall he delivered a lecture titled Pathways to Peace. Mark has worked also professionally as a journalist, broadcaster, reporter, and editor for many major global news organizations, including a 2-year assignment in Egypt in 2011 during the Arab Spring. Mark is a recipient of the Lowell Thomas Award for his work with international affairs. And Mark's very interesting history runs directly through this campus, going back 6 decades, if anybody wants to ask him about that later. Before I turn things over to Mark, just a couple of important thank yous and notes of recognition. First of all, congregation, Achdut V'Shalom, our board of directors, and our president, as well as our rabbi, Meir Bargeron, our executive director, Samara Sheree, Beth Zweig, and our staff, Charlie Smiley, Timmy Oberly, and Lily Noga. Also, I'd like to thank the Jewish Federation of Fort Wayne, our board of directors, our president, Eisbart, and especially Bonnie Pomerantz for her extra efforts in making sure that this event will come together smoothly. So, everyone. Also important to recognize the Harry W. Salin Foundation support that make events like this possible. We also have in the background Richard Hambrook taking care of our audiovisual and the wonderful support from our security team. At the conclusion of Mark's evening, if Mark is up for that, he will take questions, and then we'll welcome to a reception in the social hall behind us. If you to make sure that your electronic devices are set up not to distract from our evening, the neighbors will be most appreciative. Let's give a warm Fort Wayne welcome to South class of 1965 graduate, Mark Lavie.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you to everyone who has braved the weather, as Michael said. I actually saw a tourist shooting a video of the snow down, as if the tourist hadn't seen snow for years and years and years. Figured out who it is, right? I even sent the video to my wife in Rehovot in Israel. She was amazed. It is an honor to be back here in the same sanctuary where I had my confirmation in 1961. Yesterday, right? These days I wear many hats. I'm a journalist, I'm an Israeli citizen, I'm an American citizen, I'm a husband, father, Orthodox Jew, and I even sing in the synagogue choir. Bass, of course. What's harder and harder these days, considering the circumstances, is to switch among the hats. I think you'll sense that tonight as I can. Another point I have to make about all the horrible things I talk about is that Hamas, Hezbollah, and especially Iran are to blame. Nothing I say is meant to denigrate the suffering of the Palestinians or the Lebanese, just to assign blame. And the other thing I have to say is these are not those of the media line for whom I write. this is the time to say that in the question and answer period, people always ask me, is there a news agency or a news source out there? Because it seems to have an agenda today. And I've been there. I removed myself from daily journalism in 2014 because of it. And I discovered the Media Line a couple of years ago. They draw a strict line between news on the one side and opinion on the other. These days I'm in the opinion side, which is fine with me. I've never written opinion. I still don't. I follow the facts wherever they go. And a friend of mine has been reading my stuff for years. He said, Mark, I have this one problem with your writing, he says. I can't tell whether you're left or right. And I said, that's correct. I'm not. These days, that's most unusual for a journalist, and I'm glad I have an outlet like the Media Line that's prepared to basically print whatever I write. So here's what I'd like to talk about tonight.